We're live, Weight Loss Wednesday, episode 29.
We started?
We're on.
Okay, well when you say that, I never know if we really started. So hey everybody, I'm Chef AJ and welcome to episode 29 of Weight Loss Wednesday. I'm the creator of the Ultimate Weight Loss Program, and this is where I answer your questions about healthy, permanent, and sustainable weight loss. So, last week we had a question about bad breath, and the individual didn't want to be using mouthwash or sprays because they have sugar and things like that. And I realized what I could have mentioned is the use of essential oils. Essential oils aren't oil like olive oil or coconut oil. You literally use one drop. You could have it in water, you could have it on your tongue, but I was thinking maybe peppermint essential oil would be a good reason to freshen your breath. And my partner John Pierre has a website where he sells the doTERRA brand, and they're very pure, and if you're in Ultimate Weight Loss, you can ask him tons of questions about them because that's his area of expertise and not mine, but I just thought of that this week. So Brittany wants to know about buying an Instant Pot because she's saying when she cooks rice in her rice cooker, even though it's stainless steel, it dries out. And will the Instant Pot keep it warm and moist for hours? So in my case, yes, and even in my rice cooker, which isn't stainless steel, it's nonstick, I've never had a problem with it drying out. So Brittany, how much water are you using, and what type of rice? Because different rices absorb water differently. When I cook wild rice, it's always moister than when I cook, say, Tex-Mati rice. And I find that the short grain is usually stickier than the long grain. So Kenny, you cook a lot of rice.
I cooked in a couple days ago, and mine were fine. It's about how much water you use.
Right.
If you're not using enough water,
Right.
it's like one cup of water for half a cup of rice, right?
Well, in the Instant Pot, it's different depending on what kind of rice. So I really recommend that you get one of the vegan pressure cooking cookbooks because they all have like a guide in there as to how much water to how much rice. That might help you. I haven't had that problem, so I apologize. If you were here in person, we could do a cooking class together, and I could see what's going on. So I would say maybe change it up a little bit, try a different kind of rice, or maybe it's your particular rice cooker. Is that possible? But Instant Pot is great even if you're not going to cook rice. Remember, on the Instant Pot website, if you use my name AJ, you get $50 off. All right, so Elise says that I've been an inspiration, and she wanted to thank me, so thank you for saying that. She wants to know the best way to cook Hawaiian sweet potatoes because they've been too dry. She tried them at 400 for 2 hours, and they were very dry. In a blogger's suggestion, she cooked them slowly at 170 for 15 hours. Well, hello. If you cook anything for 15 hours, it's going to be dry. So when I've slow cooked them, Elise, I've done 250 degrees Fahrenheit for about 3 hours. But it's possible that you just have a bad batch. If you're ordering them online, I don't know which company, but I've been getting a lot of batches that aren't so great, and so I just kind of stopped ordering them, and it's going to be one of those things that I guess I'm going to just have to eat when I'm in Hawaii. You know, they are irradiated because they won't ship them to this country unless they are, so some people have a problem with that. They actually sell Hawaiian sweet potatoes right next door to where I live at a mom and pop fruit and vegetable store, but they're $3.99 a pound. When I get a bad one, I can return it, but it's not so easy when it's online because you mentioned that when you cook the Japanese sweet potatoes and roast them, they're moist. So I don't think there's anything you're doing wrong. I think it's just the potatoes. It's just sometimes you get a bad batch and they just haven't been as good. Ever since I told people to get them, now everybody's getting them, and now it seems like the quality has gone down, so I apologize. But they are really good. But you know what? So are Japanese sweet potatoes, and so are Hana yams. And now that I have an air fryer, I never thought it was possible to love my food more, and I eat what many people think is an extreme diet, Dr. Goldhammer's diet of True North Health. It's a whole food plant-based diet free of sugar, oil, salt, flour, caffeine, alcohol, and chocolate, and very low in fat without nuts. And a lot of people think it's torture. I love my food, but then I got an air fryer, and now I'm having food gasms because I take these roasted potatoes that I eat all the time anyway, the Hana and the Japanese, and then I double roast them in the air fryer, and it's really like candy.
I just got some at the farmer's market yesterday. I'm looking to cook them up tonight.
Oh man, life without potatoes is a sad existence. That's all I can say. Okay, so
Canadian sweet potatoes are much better, according to Fred Dobbs.
Well, Fred, I have not had the pleasure of trying them, so send me some. But Canadians are very nice. They don't have the death penalty, so that's why their potatoes are better, because they're not running around killing people. The studio audience found that amusing. Okay, so Cindy says that she loves all that I do, thank you, and that she misses Healthy Taste of LA. And I'm sorry, we did 18. Producing events isn't my passion or my forte. So we're not doing any live events anymore unless they're ultimate weight loss. So if you like my live events, please come to Vegas September 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at the Tuscany when I am doing the third live ultimate weight loss conference. But this time we're doing really amazing speakers. In addition to myself and John Pierre, we're doing Dr. Doug Lyle, Dr. Ellen Goldhammer, Dr. Carrie Saunders, as well as many of the people in the program that lost 100 and 200 pounds will be speaking as well. So please come to that. I think you'll really like it.
Shada's
going to be there. And Heather, so she wants to know, what my opinion on nutritional yeast is. I mentioned it briefly. Yeah, a lot of these questions are repeat, and I don't mind answering them again, but then briefly because they are in other episodes. It's just that I don't have an eidetic memory like Dr. McDougall, so I can't remember which episode I sent it in. So I think if you're going to eat nutritional yeast, use it as condiment. Don't be putting a cup in a recipe or putting it on everything. If you can't eat vegetables or salad without it, I think then maybe it's a problem. It's high in calories, actually. It's a processed food. It's a concentrated protein. Dr. Goldhammer at True North, who is my mentor, one of my 3 mentors, him, Dr. Lyle, Dr. McDougall, he's not a fan of it. He doesn't disallow it. Like, he doesn't make anything with it. Well, he doesn't make anything, but the chefs don't use it there. But if the culinary instructors want to use a little bit in the recipe, he feels that's okay, but he feels that it's a highly processed food, high calorie, concentrated protein. And I think when you like something so much that you have to use it and want to use it all the time, I think then it has that little addictive tendency, at least for you. So I don't not use it. It's in not very many of my recipes. It's in the sweet potato bisque, it's in the chipotle bean burgers, and it's in the faux parmesan. I really try not to use it too much. And even the recipes I use it in, if people don't want to use it, they're fine if you take them out. But I do recommend if you use it, get the unfortified, because the fortified is fortified with things like folic acid, which Dr. Furman says is not good for us to ingest when it's not in the natural form of folate in the vegetables. So she wants to know the name of my endocrinologist. I don't really have one. I just go to my regular vegan doctor, Dr. Roy Artal at Cedars at drartal.com for my thyroid. I did see one once just for, I don't remember his name, so write me and I'll look it up, but it's not like I have one that I love and recommend. I really don't see an endocrinologist. Okay. All right, we still have a few cooking questions before we
Fred says he's jealous because your husband, he's like lucky that she has an amazing husband.
He is lucky, and I'm lucky too. So,
wonder who that is. Charles.
Yep, Charles. So I'm so sorry. Like, if you don't tell me the pronunciation of your name when you send it, I might get it wrong, because Elise, even though it was spelled like Alice said, this is how it's pronounced. So K-A-R-A, could be Kara, could be Kara. I'm going to guess it's Kara, but who knows? She says that she's been watching my videos for almost a year and just joined UWL a couple days ago. What? Thank you. We should have like a little noisemaker. Actually, there's one under there, Kenny, because when I volunteer at the hospital at St. Joseph's, every time a baby's born, they play da-da-da, da-da-da. So we should have like a little noisemaker when you join. Wouldn't it be funny, though, at the hospital, every time a patient died, they play da-da-da-da. Thank God they don't do that. But anyway, so I'm glad you're there. And she
Where's
said,
your no button?
My no button.
You should have a yes one.
Yeah, it's under there. So she said that she was watching last week's Weight Loss Wednesday. That's a mouthful. Too many things start with W and U in my life. Ultimate Weight Loss Wednesday. Difficult letter to pronounce. And was wondering where I get my big bags of broccoli, squash, and artichokes, and are they organic? She's finding that she's going through so many vegetables that she's constantly going to the store, especially since her husband seems to be liking what I'm cooking. So I do try to buy organic whenever possible. Oh, this would be a cool thing. So like when you join Ultimate Weight Loss, we're like,
yay!
So it scares Bailey. So I do that when I teach my live classes when people are being not listening and disobedient.
Watch this.
Yeah.
How about some sugar?
No.
How about some
Oil.
oil?
What about flour?
Flour?
I said no.
Salt?
No.
Alcohol?
No.
All right. That's the pen we used last week. So now I forgot the question. So here's the thing. There's a list at EWG.org, environmentalworkinggroup.org, called the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. And I tend to go by that list. So in other words, things that have a high pesticide use, I always try to buy organic. Things that don't have a skin that we eat, like for example, a banana, a cantaloupe, an avocado, things I'm never going to eat the skin of. A coconut, it's not as urgent if we buy conventional, but go to Dr. Greger's website, nutritionfacts.org, and he talks about how it's still better to eat conventional produce than to eat organic animal products or processed food. So Costco has so much organic. They have organic spinach, they have organic broccoli, they have organic butternut squash, they have organic kale, they have almost all their frozen fruit is organic, and that's where I do my big shopping once a week. And so I'm able to manage by going to Costco every Tuesday after my spin class. I do my big shopping, and then I live next door to Trader Joe's. If I need to fill in, I go there. And then Whole Foods less often. I do buy, things like canned beans and things like that at Whole Foods, but mostly that's what I do.
And I guess in Canada, you can go to a place called Bulk Barn.
Well, that's fantastic.
Because we don't have anything like that here. Bulk Barn.
Bulk Barn.
Kelly mentioned
We have the pet barn though, where
Sam's
you buy
Club too.
Oh,
Sam's Club.
Hey guys,
In the
here's the thing.
East Coast or
the
the
most
South?
important thing is to eat plants, and one of these days I'm going to do, if they'll let me, I think at the 99-cent store. So we have this thing called the 99 cents only store. I think they have them in other parts of the country as well. And I could not believe how much food you could get for 99 cents. So when people say it's too expensive to eat 2 pounds of vegetables a day, well, at the 99-cent store, you can get 2-pound bags of frozen vegetables, and sometimes they're organic, for 99 cents. You can get a 20-pound bag of potatoes for $5. So it's not more expensive to eat this way. If you think that eating vegetables is expensive, have you ever priced chemotherapy? I have. Not that I was looking for, but when I volunteer at the hospital, I'm volunteering at the cancer center, and I was talking to this patient last Thursday, and we were talking about long-term care insurance, because that was his job as an insurance agent. And I asked him, I said, well, I'm almost 60, should I get it? And we were talking about this, and he says, well, I don't even need it. My insurance is so good. He goes, every time I get my chemo here, he gets a bill for $100,000. Now, he's not paying for it, but the point I'm trying to make is, it's not expensive to eat healthily. You pay the grocer or you pay the doctor. Walmart has organics now. Target, it's not that expensive, guys. If you're eating at restaurants, it is. If you're eating designer vegan junk food, but fruits and vegetables, especially whole grains, legumes, and potatoes, cheapest food on the planet.
Way cheaper than meat and cheese and
Absolutely.
all that shit.
Absolutely. That's right. We got a young person here, and she said all that shit. Not me. She said it. but
Sorry.
I said, no, don't be sorry, because I talk like that too. So we're going to get along just fine. It's good. So I think we have 2 more food questions, and then we can get on to the weight loss segment of the day. So, but I really do enjoy answering your questions. Maria wants to know my thought on homemade vegan soy yogurt. And so I am not against soy. If the reason I don't eat it is, or you don't see me eating it or really writing a lot of recipes with it, it's just because I'm allergic to it. Now, in general, soy is, not in general, but in specific, it is a high-fat food, because edamame, even though it's a legume, it's higher in fat than all the other beans. I believe it's over 50% fat. So when people are trying to lose weight, I don't recommend that necessarily as the bean that they're going to eat every day. But yogurt, from what you're telling me here, you're using it as a condiment, a little bit here, a little bit there. You're making it homemade. You're not putting any sugar in it. You're making it in the Instant Pot. So, I think it's great. If anything you can do, these little tweaks that make your food more delicious and make you stay on the plan, I think it's great. The only reason I don't do it is because, like I said, I am allergic to soy. And, if you find that you want to lose weight and you're not losing weight, you might look at that and, are there other types of yogurt you could make that are lower in fat? I don't know, but you're using it as a condiment, and I don't have a problem with condiments unless it's a problem for you where you're eating like gallons and gallons of this stuff every day, but it doesn't sound like you are, so go for it. I wish I knew how to make it without soy in my Instant Pot.
So Betsy Meyer asks, where do you go for this Weight Loss Wednesday? Where's the site, the class? So Mary Codwell said it and put it online. So please look to get online and get involved.
The classes that are in my home, you do need to live in Los Angeles for or be willing to travel. But the Ultimate Weight Loss Program is an online program I run with John Pierre. If you go to eatunprocessed.com and you go to the Ultimate Weight Loss page, it is a program we deliver within 24 hours where it's video and audio, but the main part of the program that helps the people the most, other than the 21-day recipe guide, is the interaction with the group of people that are doing the same thing, like-minded people, and that is the best part about the program. And we have a lot of people doing this now that have tremendous success. We do have people that are struggling, but we hold them by the hand and we love them and support them. And I think for a lot of people, unless you're an introvert and have had success doing weight loss by yourself, the support proves to be the most valuable part of the program for many people, and it's like a family, it's like a tribe. So one more food question, but this also could pertain to weight loss. So Nasli says, is it okay to eat black rice, red rice with vegetables at lunch and then have rice again in the evening with salad, or must she alternate with rice at lunch and then potatoes at dinner? Well, there's no food that you have to eat if you have an intolerance or an allergy or don't like it, but what are your goals? So if your goal is weight loss, rice is a little bit more calorically dense than some of the other starches. So potatoes, sweet potatoes, and the wonderful winter squashes, which are my favorite, like butternut, kabocha, acorn, Hubbard, delicata. These are about 350 calories a pound. Rice is about 500. Not that there's anything wrong with rice. Asians are the slimmest people on the planet with only a 3% obesity rate, and they eat white rice as the bulk of their diet. But I mean, do you not want to eat potatoes? I know for some people they're nightshades, but what about winter squashes and sweet potatoes? I mean, if you're happy eating just rice at every meal with vegetables, and you're happy with your weight, I don't think you necessarily have to eat potatoes, but they're really enjoyable. Most of us love them, and I find that they're more satiating than rice. I also find that for me personally, I'll stop at like 1.5 pounds of potatoes. I'm full, but with rice, I kind of keep going back for more. There seems to be...
It's smaller.
Well, it's smaller, but there seems to be with grains, in my brain, there seems to be this almost opiate-like effect whereas I really never overeat on potatoes or squash. With rice, I always seem to have a little bit more. But again, you know, when you guys ask questions, which the best way to do is go to eatunprocessed.com, sign up for my mailing list, and submit them. It would be helpful if you let me know what your goals are, because, you know, and the word okay, is it okay? Is it okay for what? Is it okay for health? Is it okay for weight loss? It's probably okay for both, but I need to know a little bit more about you, and if you in Ultimate Weight Loss or you're going to join, you can actually get really specific. Now, before I forget, I should have done this at the beginning. I want to wish a very happy birthday to Ina Mohan. Ina is the creator of the Health, Healing, and Happiness event that is taking place in Las Vegas, June, I believe it's 9th, 10th, and 11th. I'm not speaking this year, but I'll be attending. I hope you'll come. It's a fabulous event. She is a fabulous person along with her husband, Mook. She's a mover and shaker. It's the best Vegas event, and I really encourage you to go. It's at the Tuscany Hotel. And
Happy birthday.
Awesome. So happy birthday, Ina. Her husband wanted me to do like a selfie video, and if you had been here, Eden, you could have taught. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I barely know how to even.
Well, we got Tina Turner here, so what's love got to do with it, anyways?
Yeah, I love that name. I see her. That's such a cool name. All right, so I did that. Okay, so now we're back to alcohol. I don't know how many times I've addressed this, but since I'm so passionate about it.
While we talk about alcohol, can we also talk about, someone's asked, kombucha? Is kombucha on this diet?
Well, it's not on my diet. It's not on my, you know, guys, here's the thing. So, you know, I'm pretty much black and white, and the reason is because I'm a recovering food addict, and I can't have gray areas in this area of my life. And so, you know, why do you need, my question to you is, why do you need these things? Why do you need kombucha? It's true that there could be marginal health benefits in some of these things, and you say, well, that's why I drink coffee, because it has this benefit, or alcohol. The reality is you want to get high. You want to get high. That's why you do anything, is to feel pleasure, avoid pain, or conserve energy. And so, you know, I think water is the best thing to drink, and followed by hibiscus tea and pot liquor, and maybe some herbal tea when you're cold. But you know, we're the only species that really drinks anything other than.
Just for some of the newbies, why don't you say what pot liquor is again, just for the newbies?
Pot liquor is not liquor. That's the only liquor I recommend. So when we cook our vegetables, whether it's in the Instant Pot or the stove, it's the broth that is left in the pan or the pot. And I didn't know it was called pot liquor. I just thought it was kale water, and it was delicious. I was using it to make broth, and then I was speaking in the South and said, well, that stuff's gold. We drink it in the South. It's called pot liquor, and I drink it, and that's my favorite beverage in the morning, because I drink a big thermos full while I'm walking Bailey while it's chilly, and it's delicious, and it'll supercharge you the same way as the caffeine from coffee does. So I love me some good pot liquor. And so, you know, I'm not a fan of, if you can't make it easily in your own kitchen, and I'm sure there's kits that you can make kombucha, but it's not something natural that you can make, such as like date paste, where you take dates and then add water and put it in the food processor. So, and also it's fairly expensive, and you know, I'm sure it has calories as opposed to water. So I'm not, and it does have some alcohol in it, and I think that's why people like it, because I actually tasted it at one of the veg fests, and I swear I got drunk from like this much. So not a fan. And I'm really not a fan of alcohol for lots of reasons, and I'll read the question first. So this is from Karen. She says, hi, thank you for all you do. You're welcome. I appreciate that you guys thank me. And she said, somewhere she's heard me talk about alcohol and weight loss. Love to know where I stand. Her dilemma is she went vegan about 1.5 years ago and stopped drinking wine for 100 days. She started losing 2 pounds a week and nearly reached weight loss goal when she added alcohol back. Now, months later, she's gained all her weight back and realized I'll probably have to quit my one vice for good. All other food is vegan. If I've cut out oil, cheese, meats, dairy, etc., and I'm drinking the same amount of wine as before, why am I not losing weight? overall it's much lower in calories and fat. Well, that's a good rationalization. Ugh, seems like I'm more sensitive to alcohol calories, or maybe it's a ratio thing since my protein and fats are lower. Am I eating too many carbs? She's 49 years old. So here's the thing. I've never personally known or had a female client, either privately or in Ultimate Weight Loss, that could remain slender while drinking alcohol or even lose weight. There's lots of reasons, and I've said this in previous episodes, but since you want to know, I'll say it again to you. And liquid calories, first of all, are not favorable for weight loss. So even if alcohol wasn't detrimental to your health, which I believe it is, it has no fiber, it has no nutrients, it has no satiety. So whether the calories come from, fruit juice or alcohol, it's just not a good thing for weight loss in general. Alcohol is 216 calories per ounce. It's 7 calories per gram. So think of alcohol almost as bad as like drinking oil in terms of caloric density. Protein and carbohydrates are only 4 calories a gram. Fat, oil, 9 calories a gram. Alcohol, 7 calories a gram, almost as calorically dense. So it's way too calorically dense. Now, when people drink alcohol, they generally don't say, you know what, I'm in the mood for some steamed kale, because what it does is it lowers your resistance to be able to not eat these hyperpalatable foods, because it relaxes you, it's a depressant, you're like, whatever, so instead of having, a baked potato, you're like eating a whole bag of potato chips. The World Health Organization has come out with a statement, I believe it was last year, saying they will no longer recommend any amount of alcohol as safe, that it increases your risk of every single cancer. So, why you would want to do something knowingly that could increase your risk of cancer, especially if you have any cancer in your family, to me is silly. Now, you've gained your weight back, and that's when I say it's good, I mean it's not good that you gained your weight back, it's good that you only gained your weight back, because the people that I've worked with that will not give up alcohol, when they gain their weight back, they often gain more than they lost. And I can't tell you how many people have relapsed because of just one sip of wine. Alcohol's a drug, it's not a food, so why do you need it? Why do you need to get high? What's missing in your life, or what can't you deal with that you have to medicate with alcohol? When people say, well, I love the taste of wine. Well, I can give you some delicious tasting non-alcoholic wine, and trust me, you're not going to like it, because you're doing it because you want to get high, because you want that hit of dopamine. It's why we do everything. It's why we eat all the crap food, and what can I tell you? And I don't want to say you're never going to lose weight if you drink, but you've kind of proved to yourself at least that you cannot maintain your weight loss if you drink alcohol, because most people cannot moderate the use of alcohol. Now, we know that alcoholics can't moderate it at all, and they should never drink. Yes, are there people that can drink alcohol and not become alcoholics? Sure. Are there people that can drink alcohol and not become overweight? Sure. But if you're an alcoholic or you're overweight, it's not you. So, I'm not a fan for a lot of other reasons, having people in my family that have suffered from this disease and the consequences of it, and also because, I've had 2 family members hit by drunk drivers. They were both doctors, and even though they were bleeding and injured, by law, they had to help the drunks that hit them. So I'm just not a fan of it. I know it's a social lubricant. I do not like to attend events where there's drinking. I personally don't go. Sometimes these vegan events have it, and I just don't go. So I'm straight edge vegan. I'm proud of it. I think alcohol's kind of stupid. I think it makes you stupid. I think it makes you fat, especially if you're a woman. And if goal is your weight loss, it's not going to help. And now here's the other problem. You've gained your weight back, and even though I can't show you anything specifically from the scientific literature at this moment, the doctors I've interviewed, like Dr. Linda Carney, whose interview we actually have to redo because of a video glitch, it's harder to lose weight when you've regained it. It really is. When you gain your weight back, when you relapse, it's such a hit to your self-esteem. And I do believe that physiologically it does become harder to lose weight once you've regained it. I mean, I can't prove it. I can only tell you in the hundreds of clients I work with that have regained it. I don't know if they just lose their resolve, or that maybe your body just hangs on to it. So I would do an experiment and go without it and see if you can actually lose weight. But yeah,
you got a lot of hearts going across the screen when you talked about the subject, and a lot of people, I think it meant something
too.
I
appreciate that.
If it's all, you can maybe share it with somebody. Share this little
share,
episode.
Just push the share button. The other thing, guys, if you're an ethical vegan, what people don't realize is there's a lot of wine out there. Most alcohol, in fact, it's not even vegan. Mm-hmm. It's made with crustacean shells, or filtered through a sturgeon bladder. I know that John Sally has a brand called Vegan Vine, but most alcohol is not vegan, as is most sugar. It's filtered through animal bones and sometimes coffee. So if you're an ethical vegan, that's another reason not to drink. You know, it's expensive. It's, you know, I know it's very socially acceptable. I'm just fortunate that, I mean, I have a lot of other bad habits. I used to smoke and I've been a food addict, but I'm just very thankful seeing the amount of devastation and destruction that habit does to people's weight and self-esteem, that I never got into that. Not judging you, I get it. You want to feel good. So try to get high with life, you know. Meaningful social interactions. How much exercise are you getting? How much sex are you having? Are you doing volunteer work? Are you meditating? You can find ways to feel good in your brain without medicating with food and drink. And in the Ultimate Weight Loss Program, it's not just a weight loss program, it's a health program, and it's a program that addresses addiction, and it's an addiction. I don't like addictions.
So before we got the hearts, now we're getting all these whoa. I mean, someone put gross here, but whoa.
Whoa to what? Well, whoa
I don't know,
what?
like these your comments. So it just makes sense. Like wow.
Well, listen.
Animal bones and stuff like that.
Well, but that's the truth.
I know.
mean, I've been vegan. September 1st, I've been vegan 40 years, and a lot of stuff what people think is vegan isn't. And a lot of times you'll buy a vegan product that has like palm oil in it, and and it may be quote vegan in that it's not from animals, but what about the fact that they have deforested the rainforest and relocated or destroyed the Borneo chimps or the Sumatra elephants to get that palm oil? You have to realize the consequences of your choices anytime you eat these things. So eat food whole as found in nature from a plant, not food manufactured in a plant, even if it's vegan. That's what I gotta say. All right, so Mary says that will the Ultimate Weight Loss Live conference in Vegas be offered as, online? And probably not, because we did shoot the last Ultimate Weight Loss Live with Dr. Lyle Goldhammer that we're making into a program, and that will be that. But this is the first time we're doing an event in a hotel. It's much more expensive, and to get the audio and the video set up for that, I just don't see how it's possible. So please.
Someone says, what is the best way to start on UWL?
Well, meaning like to start again, or to start if you haven't done it. You know, the best way to start is to clean up your environment. And this is the thing that we have a question. Actually, our next question is about that, because the way to start any lifestyle change or modification program is to clean up your environment. If you're trying to quit smoking, you get rid of all the cigarettes in your house, you get rid of all the matches, and you even get rid of all the ashtrays. So the best way to start is to clean up your environment. And this is so perfect, Kenny. It's like we're in sync. This next question has to come right into this. So Mary says, I didn't listen, and I left things in my environment that I should have gotten rid of. I thought I wouldn't eat them. Yes, you've heard it before, and I did. Since then, I've had non-compliant food for a couple of weeks. What is the best way to get back to eating healthy and feeling better? I feel like I need an intervention. You need a intervention is what I say. But I'm not able to go to True North now. I'm in the middle of moving. We'll be starting a new job, so I have to find a solution that will help me now. Do I do phone consults? If not, is JP available to help get me back on track? So I'll answer the second part of the question first. JP and I both do consults. We charge the same thing. And I do them via phone, Skype, or FaceTime, and I think JP can do that as well. The difference is JP will do a 30-minute consult. I can't get really into the person's situation with 30 minutes, and I only do consults with people that are already in the Ultimate Weight Loss Program, because if I have to spend that hour and a half explaining calorie density in the diet to you, then we never get to your issues. So I do if you're in Ultimate Weight Loss, which it sounds like you are. So let's talk about this first. You ate something and it was in your environment. So have you gotten rid of it? Have you gotten out of your environment? Now, if you're in Ultimate Weight Loss, you read the boards when people say, I relapsed, I ate XYZ, I ate something with flour, I ate something with sugar. And you know that the first thing I say to them is, where did you get it? And in the 5 years we've been running the program, we never had anybody say, well, I got in the car at 11 o'clock and drove to 7-Eleven, I got it. It's always in their house. And you're probably sick of hearing me say this, but if you don't want, we're going to address how you get back on track. But if you don't want to relapse again, Mary, you have got to get the stuff out of your house. I was talking to Dr. Lyle today, and again, this came up, how you have to work harder on your environment than you do yourself. Those are his words. When I interviewed Dr. Carrie Saunders, she said we have to be the master of our environments. JP talks about how we have to sanitize our environments, and I talk about how if it's in your house, it's in your mouth. And it's not a question of if you will eat it, only when. And there is no exception to this rule. None whatsoever. And I know it can be difficult, and a lot of people are unwilling. And I say unwilling because I do not believe that there's anybody out there that is completely unable to improve their environment. You know, we have people in Ultimate Weight Loss that will post something like, well, I could never ask my husband, you know, to give up his favorite foods. And it's like, you can't even ask him. If these foods are troublesome to you, if they're causing you to binge or overeat, which is causing you to feel terrible about yourself and compromise your health and gain weight and lose self-esteem, you can't even ask them. You see, we're not telling you that you have to tell, well, if they're underage kids, they should be eating what you make. Two choices, take it or leave it. You should not be feeding your kids crap, especially dairy, especially animal products, sugar and flour. And, you know, there's people that can help you like Sharon McRae that deal specifically with transitioning families. But if you have underage children that aren't driving, that don't have their own money, there is no excuse to be feeding them crap. But as far as spouses, people say, well, my husband works hard, he's entitled, you know. Here's the thing, if you haven't even talked to him about it, then how do you know he's gonna say no? We have a couple people in Ultimate Weight Loss whose spouses are, trying to think of an appropriate word. Difficult, that are unwilling to help their wife out. But you know, most people's spouses love them, respect them, and want to support them. And so you can talk to them in such a manner that's non-confrontational. You're not saying, look, you can't eat these foods. You say, honey, listen, I'm really struggling with this. I'm really struggling with these foods, and I want to be here for a long time, and I want to be healthy because I love you guys so much, and I want to be here for a long time. But having these things in the house, it just wears on me. I can't not eat them. So would you be so kind as to eat these foods outside of the house? And you can eat whatever you want, or what you do is you just make one meal for everybody, one healthy, compliant meal. And if they want to add things to that meal, they do it. They pay for them themselves, they buy it themselves, they cook it themselves. That's really what it takes to be successful, because here's the thing. Willpower does not work when you have to make a decision. I mean, it's only required when you have to make a decision. So in other words, you don't ever have to decide to eat something that's not there. So when it's in your house, there's no decision to be made. It's calling to you all the time. And when people say, well, but it's not my favorite flavor, so it's okay if he has ice cream as long as it's vanilla because I'm chocolate, you can't have any of that because it's an associative cue and it reminds you of ice cream and it gets you thinking about ice cream, and it just can't be there because it's just too easy for when you have a bad day and your dog dies and your boss yells at you or you're in a car accident for you to eat it. Because if it's not in your environment, you have to do something to go out and get it. And the thing is with the motivational triad, part of that is the conservation of energy principle. And if it's late at night and you're tired and you're in your pajamas and you actually got to think about putting on shoes and getting the car keys and going in the car and starting the car and driving there, a lot of times you create what's called a pause and you actually won't do it. So there's no real power required to eat something that's not there. It's only required when you have to make the decision not to eat it. And when the food is there, you know it's there, and all you have to do, and all that's happening is you're draining all your willpower, making every effort white knuckling not to eat it. And so I'm sorry to say that I don't want to say that you are doomed to failure if you don't clean up your environment. You could be successful, but it's going to be infinitely more difficult. It's going to be draining on your willpower. And I will tell you that every person that I personally know that's been successful in this journey of losing their weight and keeping it off, they have no non-compliant foods in their house for any reason. Not a drop, not a morsel, not a crumb. And these are the people like myself and Shada and Heather that not only don't have it in our house, but if somebody tries to bring it in for like a potluck, whether it's alcohol or cake, they don't get it. It doesn't come in the house. So until you take the environmental control seriously, you're going to struggle. That's all I can say. I've talked till I'm blue in the face about this, but let me ask you guys something. If the environment isn't important and it's okay to have crap in your house, then why haven't you been successful? What is the reason? What do you think? You know, I know, some people say, well, I'm just going to say it's not my food. And I'm going to walk around going, not my food, not my food. Well, it doesn't matter. It's not food in anybody. It's not anybody's food. But that doesn't work. I mean, that's like magic. It doesn't work, you know. I'm not going to eat it. I'm not going to eat it. You know, you are going to eat it because it's in your house. It doesn't matter if it's not your favorite flavor. If it's this is a problem you are not meant to solve. Read The Pleasure Trap, because we are genetically hardwired to eat the most concentrated calories, the highest fat food, as much as we can, because we never got them in nature. And so when the nuts appeared seasonally, we gorged on them. But then we moved on and we didn't have nuts for a really long time. We weren't eating them every day. We weren't eating them salted and roasted. We weren't eating sugar or flour or drinking alcohol. And so...
Or caramel coated.
Absolutely. So you're not designed to solve this problem, because you evolved in an environment of scarcity where none of these foods were available, and now they're available 24/7. And when you have them in your house, what are you going to do? You're going to eat them.
So Anna Banana Ball says her 11-year-old son, she argues with this issue and what's in the cows, because he argues the food pyramid. And again, I think maybe show her the
well, which food pyramid?
That's the thing, but I'm thinking
pyramid? Because I go by Neil Barnard's food
That's
pyramid,
what I'm saying.
which really isn't a pyramid; it's a plate, which is 4 segments: fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes.
and that's
my
in
food pyramid.
Physicians Committed to Responsible Medicine.
Yeah.
You can go to their website and see that.
PCRF.org. I'm speaking at their conference July 28th and 29th. So he argues the food pyramid. I don't know how you argue it, because, I mean, what's he saying? He wants specific things in the house, I don't know.
What does 11-year-old kid know?
Well, he knows he probably wants his crap.
They're
because-
brainwashed at school
Yeah,
too.
absolutely. Yeah, what they learn in school is absolutely incorrect
Yeah,
nutritionally.
bullshit.
So, okay.
In many things.
So let's address the second part of Mary's question. So she needs an intervention, and how does she get back on track? So since you're already in ultimate weight loss, the way you get back on track is just pretend you just joined and start the program over. Listen to the audio again and all the time if you have a dog, while you're walking the dog, while you're exercising, while you're doing dishes. Immerse yourself in the knowledge that we share with you in the program. Watch the videos again. You've got to sanitize your environment, because not doing so, you see what happened. It's going to take a few days. It can take up to 10 days for you to really start feeling your best, but usually after a relapse, the first 3 days are the worst. And your self-esteem takes a big hit, because it's a horrible feeling. And I know that. I've only relapsed once, and I hated it so much I decided never to do it again. And I resolved that it is much easier to stay compliant and stay abstinent than to keep trying to neuroadapt and become abstinent again and go through detoxification and withdrawal. So that's why I stay abstinent, because a clean abstinent is an easy abstinent. And when you've been abstinent long enough and you get the body you want and the very calm brain chemistry, you realize that abstinence is bliss. Now, for people that, I cannot think of one reason why you really shouldn't be able to clean up your environment, but, maybe like your college roommate and you're paying half the rent or whatever. If you really have to have crap in the environment, you have to work the other aspects of the program even more diligently, which means to boost those brain chemicals, you have to do more exercise, you have to do more meditation, you have to do more of the other stuff, since the most important part, in my opinion, it has not been done. So what you can do to get back on track is that just eat compliant food the next meal. Make the next meal greens or vegetables or even just potatoes. Don't eat until you're hungry after a relapse. If you've overeaten or eaten crap food, you got plenty of glycogen stores. You're not going to starve if you don't eat until you're hungry. We have people at True North that fast for 40 days that are slender for things like autoimmune disease, and so you could go without a meal. So if you wait until you're hungry to eat, which by the way I recommend whether you've relapsed or not, I think it's sort of a good thing to do, is only eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full, which is very difficult when you're not eating natural food. When you eat whole natural food, there is a satiety mechanism built in. When people say they binge on carrots, no they don't. You binge because you had salt or sugar or flour, because whole natural food is just too filling for you to really binge on. So wait until you're hungry to eat. If you're in ultimate weight loss, get on the boards. Most people ask for forgiveness instead of permission. You say what happened. You don't have to get into the specifics with the food, but we will rally around you, love you, embrace you, welcome you back. And you try again. What do you do if you fall down? Could you imagine an Olympic ice skater? Oh, I fell down, I guess I'll quit. No, you get back up. And that's really what it takes. And you're seeing me now. You're seeing the end result. But what about the 51 years that I was overweight or obese and suffered like every day of my life? Watch my talk From Fat Vegan to Skinny Bitch, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The only reason I'm standing here is because I did everything wrong for 51 years, and then I got some information in Santa Rosa, which I share with you, and now I know what you got to do. But you got to be diligent. To overcome you really never cure obesity or food addiction. People, I was on a podcast today and somebody said, well, how do you cure food addiction? I'm like, you don't. You'd have an easier time curing yourself of cancer or heart disease or diabetes. Now, you can manage it. You can manage obesity. You can manage food addiction. It's just like alcoholism. When you stop drinking, you haven't cured your alcoholism. What you've done is you're managing it, but the minute you take another drink again and become alcoholic, guess what? You're alcoholic again. You know, the other thing, Mary, that I want to say to you, and I've said this on other episodes, but I know not everybody sees every episode, and certainly not in order, and I don't have the scientific word for this, so I call it the Philip Seymour Hoffman effect. When you've been compliant for a while and then you relapse, the hit of dopamine, it's so much more, and it draws you back into the pleasure trap and sucks you in so much more quickly. So it's sort of like if you're addicted to processed foods and sugars and flours, you eat them because you're addicted to them. You're not eating, it's like smoking cigarettes. You know, most people that smoke will tell you they really don't get pleasure from smoking, but they get pain when they don't smoke because they don't want to experience the withdrawal. And so when you're eating these hyperpalatable foods, you're eating them because not eating them causes you discomfort. Eventually that stops. But after you go without them for a while and then you eat them again, you get more dopamine than you had before when you were eating them every day. It's sort of like when Philip Seymour Hoffman, who apparently was a heroin addict, was sober for 23 years, and then one day he chose to have a drink of alcohol, which is not a good idea if you're an addict of any kind. That's another reason I'm against alcohol. Is within 3 days he was using heroin again and he was dead. Because when you've abstained, your addiction is in the corner doing push-ups, and when it comes back, it is with a vengeance to bite you in the ass. And so when you awaken the sleeping dragon of addiction, let me tell you something, it's never in a good mood. So work the program. And also, what about the parts of the program that JP is always teaching you guys about the essential oils, the vision board, the green powders? Were you using these before you relapsed? Were you using your green powders? Were you using your essential oils? Were you working on your vision board? Because if you do the techniques that Jean-Pierre teaches, you shouldn't be relapsing in the first place, even when there is, God forbid, crap in your environment. So we have one more question, and unless you guys have anything for me, I'm going to go to the visual part.
I think we should get to the visual.
Okay, this is my favorite part. All right, so Pat watched a video yesterday where I said, quote, if you hate fruits and vegetables, you better love being fat and sick, unquote. And I can't believe I said that. Goldhammer is rubbing off on me, but I did. I said it to a newscaster in Vegas, and I guess it was on the internet, and I didn't know that. So Pat wants to know, is there any way to lose weight without eating fruits and vegetables, because I hate them and say eat only potatoes?
Well, let's talk about the visual first. Your shirt. People have been commenting about this.
I
Dogs, yes.
Yep.
You, maybe.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just a nice open thing, and it says...
I got it at Marshall, Texas. Health Fest. It's from Roots. Thank you. I really like
Roots,
this.
yes.
Roots or Roots. So Pat, I don't know if you're a male or female, because like Saturday Night Live, your name is Pat. And the reason I say that is because my answer is going to be different from a male than a female. As far as can you just do a mono diet, like an all potato diet, and still lose weight? The answer is probably and maybe, but let me talk a little bit more about that. So I don't recommend any diet. So the dietary style that I teach in UWL is not a diet, because we're eating large quantities of delicious food. And the diet that I eat is the same diet that Dr. Goldhammer's eaten for 40 years, even though he's never been overweight. He's never suffered from food addiction, and this is how he raised his children and how they eat. So I don't consider it a diet. So when you do one of these mono diets, you're going on a diet. So you are restricting, and they can be useful for some people short term. But my question is what benefit could you get from doing, let's say, all potatoes that you couldn't get from doing starch and vegetables? You know, if you go to Dr. McDougall's website, there's two diets that I really like for people that are struggling. One is Mary's Mini, where you pick a starch and a vegetable, and one is the elimination diet, which you're basically doing the same thing. So the reason I asked if you were male and female is because men lose weight a lot more quickly than women. So you could be eating the same amount, let's say even if you were the same weight and size and height as your husband, you can be eating the same amount trying to lose weight, and he'll lose 3 pounds a week, and if you're a lady, you'll lose a half a pound or 1 pound. Women are slow losers because we are, as Dr. Goldhammer says, energy conservation fat storage machines, because we have babies, and in evolution, there was often not enough food to eat, and so if we were pregnant, we had to be able to keep that baby alive, so we have the ability to store fat, and we also produce estrogen. So I think that anytime you eat vegetables, it's a good thing because they lower the caloric density of the meal, but also it's not that yes, you could eat just potatoes. People have done it and they've survived, and some have thrived. But vegetables are the fruits and vegetables most associated with health. See, I can understand people don't like vegetables; they don't produce so much dopamine. But you can't. Can you hate fruit too? Because there's a lot of vegetables, non-starchy vegetables that are technically botanically fruits: cucumbers, zucchini, bell pepper, eggplant, tomato, and okra. And these are technically fruits. Fruits and vegetables have all the micronutrients, all the things with color, the phytochemicals, the antioxidants. Whenever you read things in the medical literature that come out, new studies show that increasing your servings of fruits and vegetables fights this cancer, fights that cancer. And so I don't just teach weight loss. That's the name of the program. We teach ultimate health, optimum health, and also we help people conquer or at least, manage their food addictions. So let me show you why I think it's probably better.
Before we go there, just see this skinny lady here with these pants,
my God.
because she's been wanting to
Thank
show
you.
these pants
Yes,
off.
These are the most comfortable pants. BJ Swingle has the same one.
They're
She
pretty
got it
wild.
for me. They have
Nice.
carrots, and I got
Those are carrots.
carrot earrings to match.
So she
thank you.
matches. So there you
All
go.
right. So I've done a lot of demonstrations with the jars for calorie density. I'm really trying to find one that really is the shape of the stomach, but people's stomach do vary. The average stomach is about the size of a cantaloupe and holds about a liter of food, which is about 4.22 cups. So let's pretend this is your stomach. This is probably a little bit bigger. So in this jar, which is your stomach, or it could be your stomach, I have 3,200 calories of walnuts, and people say, "Oh, nobody could eat that many nuts." Well, it's less than 4 cups, and yes, people can eat this many nuts. I have, not so much from walnuts, but definitely from macadamia or pistachios or cashews. I've done it, not in a long time, thankfully, but it's something like 300 grams of fat, and there's 3,200 calories. Now, in order for us to feel full, we have to satisfy what's known as the 3 mechanisms of satiation: stretch, nutrient, and calorie receptors. Well, you can see that these 3,200 calories of walnuts, you're not going to be full, because the volume is what makes you feel full. See, it's not just the calories in the food that cause you to feel satiated, which is the end of hunger. It's the weight and the volume of the food. So, again, there's some health benefits to nuts, but they don't have the kind of water and they don't have the kind of bulk. So let's take these 3,200 calories of walnuts and let's put them over here. And now let's fill our stomach with potatoes. Well, this is 24 ounces of potatoes. This is 2 potatoes. They weigh 24 ounces. So this is about 600 calories, 525 to 600 calories. You eat 2 potatoes, roasted, steamed, however you want, and your stomach is full. Your stomach is full. But it's full on about 600 calories. Now, let's fill it with non-starchy vegetables. Here we have a pound of zucchini, which is 67 calories. Your stomach is going to be really full. Now, I'm not recommending you just eat vegetables, and that's not what we recommend at all in the Ultimate Weight Loss Program. But what if you ate half and half? What if you ate 12 ounces of potatoes and a half a pound of zucchini? That's why when people say 1 pound of vegetables is so much, it's like 2 zucchinis. So what if you did this instead? You'd still be full, but now you've lowered the caloric density of your meal from 600 to 330, almost half. And so that's why I'm a bigger fan of a starch and vegetable diet than I am of an all-starch diet. And I understand that that starch tastes better. Of course, everything at a higher caloric density tastes better, but the Ultimate Weight Loss Program is a starch-based diet. We want you to get at least 50% of your calories from starch, maybe even up to 80, depending. Everybody has to find that sweet spot between starch and vegetables. I know mine is at about, I eat between like almost 3/4 of my calories from starch. So I need about 1,800 calories a day to maintain my weight. And I know that at least 1,200 is coming from starch because I eat at least 3 pounds of potatoes a day, or 1.5 pounds of potatoes and about 3 cups of rice. That's 1,200 right there. About 400 from non-starchy vegetables. And on the days I eat fruit, about another 100, maybe 200 from fruit. So I would suggest, Pat, that if you could learn to maybe not love vegetables, but eat them anyway, because you will learn to like them because you develop taste preferences for what you habitually eat, I think that would be a better way to go, both in terms for weight loss, especially if you're female, and also in terms of health. And There's over 30 kinds of non-starchy vegetables. There's got to be one out there that you can at least tolerate. What about a cucumber? What about a cherry tomato? So anyway, I'm a big fan of vegetables. So any other questions? Oh, we're not going to be airing next week. We are going to be on a plane. Well,
We're flying next
on a
week.
plane. So we'll see. What was the highest number we got today?
180 maybe.
Yeah,
181,
so,
yeah.
So we'll see how this time works. I'll ask you guys. I always go through the feed afterwards. I get this on YouTube within 24 hours, so please subscribe to the Chef AJ channel. And somebody said, does the Ultimate Weight Loss Program ever go on sale? No, because it's already the low price leader for what you get for your money. However, every now and then we'll do a giveaway. So if you want to be in on the giveaway for the free program, you need to sign up to be on my mailing list at eatunprocessed.com. You need to like my YouTube page, Chef AJ, and you need to subscribe to a blog called Beans Not Bambi, because the giveaway is going to be in conjunction with that blog. This is a lady that's lost a lot of weight on the Ultimate Weight Loss
We
Program.
could always show people how to save some money so they can afford it. Just don't go out to dinner 3 nights in a row, and
absolutely.
you have enough money to pay for this
Or
thing.
buy it on PayPal, where you can extend the payments over 6 months interest-free. It's $25 a month. So, people have time and money for what they really value. This is a very affordable program. And we found that when we did give scholarships, these were not people that did well. People tend to not appreciate, but they tend to do better when they actually have to invest something in it. So
Exactly. The more you invest, the more.
Can
We
I
should
say
actually
something
charge them
about
more.
kombucha quick?
absolutely,
She can have fermented foods instead of
yeah.
kombucha.
Yeah, that's a
which
great
is
point.
better.
If the reason you're saying you want kombucha is because you want fermented foods, you can absolutely have kimchi, sauerkraut, things like that, and you can get them salt-free or make them salt-free. Whole Foods actually sells a sauerkraut without salt, 2 flavors actually.
And if you live in LA and you go to one of these farmers market, there's this Korean, Dave's Korean, which has all these different types of what you call foods. Fermented foods. Yeah, it's
right.
really amazing stuff.
So let me know if you like the 3 o'clock slot better than the 4 o'clock slot, and we'll make our decision really soon.
Put the like now.
Put the like.
Hit the like button.
Hit the like button, hit the share button. So if there's nothing else, I will close this episode 29 by thanking you guys so much for watching another episode of Weight Loss Wednesday. I'm Chef AJ, and I do believe you can have both the health and the body you so richly deserve. Thanks, everyone.
Have a good night.